Hey guys, have you heard of Joe Medwick? He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I didn't realize how good of a hitter he was. Ken Arzo here, Vista, California. Sunday, March 30th, 2025. I started covering Joe Medwick's career 1932 season. Got into 26 games, batted 349. Okay, not enough measure for me to determine how good he is. But in 1933, his second season, he's only 21 years old, gets 182 hits and bats 306. That's a sign. 1934, he comes back, gets 198 hits and bats 319. 3 years, 300 or better batting average. So his fourth year, he breaks out. 1935. Gets 224 hits and bats 353. Then in his fifth year, comes back, gets 223 more hits, and bats 351. How do you like that 5-year period right there? Pretty good. So what's the encore? 1937 season, he's 25 years old. Listen to the numbers, the stats. 156 games in 154 game season, so that means there must have been a playoff, must have been some ties, and they kept playing. Extra game. 633 at bats. He goes 111 runs scored, 4 years in a row, over 100 runs scored. How about this? 237 hits. He outdoes himself. He had a 224 campaign, then he had a 223. Now he goes 237. 3 years in a row, 200 hits. 56 doubles. How about that? 40 is the number players should aspire to. He goes 56. And the year before, he went 64 doubles, which was number 2 all time as far as in a season. Earl Webb had 67 one year. And Joe Medwick, number 2. 64 doubles. So 56 doubles, 1937. 10 triples, 31 homers. That's a high for him. 154 runs batted in. Not just 100. 154. 41 walks. He bats 374. Not just a measly 300. 374. And he goes 414 on base. I like that. How about slugging? 641. And then he goes 406 total bases. So listen to the numbers here. He leads the league in runs scored, hits in a season, the same season, doubles, homers, RBIs. He leads in slugging and total bases. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 categories. He leads the league. Joe Medwick, 1937 season, and it's a 5 for 5 for the third year in a row. What do I mean? 100 or more runs scored, he goes 111. 200 or more hits, he goes 237. 100 or more RBIs, he goes 154. 300 or better batting average, he goes 374. And 300 or more total bases, he goes 406. Those are the 5 categories I like. Runs scored, hits, RBIs, batting average, total bases. 5 for 5. 3 years in a row. Joe Medwick. I didn't realize how good of a hitter he was. 3 years in a row, 5 for 5. Is that a record? No. Chuck Klein holds the record. 5 for 5 in those categories. 5 years in a row. As far as how many times a player did 5 for 5 in those categories, Roger Hornsby did it 6 times. But Lou Gehrig holds the record 8 times in his career. He went 5 for 5 in those categories. I'll repeat it so everyone's clear. The 5 categories are 100 runs scored, 200 hits, 100 or more RBIs, 300 or better batting average, and 300 or more total bases. Lou Gehrig 8 times did it. Roger Hornsby 6 times. Chuck Klein 5 times. And how about Joe Medwick 3 times? But Chuck Klein did it 5 consecutive years. That's better than Gehrig and Hornsby. They didn't do it 5 times in a row. But overall, Hornsby did it 6 times. And Gehrig overall in his career did it 8 times. How about Chuck Klein? 5 years in a row going 5 for 5 in those categories. And I got Joe Medwick 3 times. Pretty good hitter, right? I think that's how he made the Baseball Hall of Fame, because he is in a stretch right now where it's just putting up the numbers. Starting with 1933 season, 182 hits, then 198, 224, 223, and 237. The 237 hits is top 10 all time as far as hits in a season. Joe Medwick, Baseball Hall of Fame. That's why I'm covering him. Let's keep going. I'll look at the 1938 season next. I'm out.